In honour of my final trip to the US to teach, I thought I'd do a 4-part series painting some of my favourite areas of the US. For this one, I thought we would head to Vermont and just do a lovely little farm scene. There's nothing like incorporating animals. The action of the cow in the foreground I think will really sort of bring this one to life. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, we have a blank board. It's always a mystery as to what's going to happen. And there's always a little bit of anxiousness and concern as to, can I pull it off again? Can I make this one work? That's the one thing that I've learned is, even if it's a scene, a building, a house, a barn, something that I've maybe have painted that subject before, there's never any guarantees. There's always a certain amount of adjustment and uncertainty. But I think that's what's really the ultimate great fun. And I think that's why it's so important to make sure we get these big shapes in place, because if they're not in place, as they say, if it ain't on the stage, a page I should say, it ain't on the stage. So that's why it's good to make sure we really do nail these big shapes. And actually normally once I've finished my block-in stage, that first stage, I'll love to sort of make sure I step back, but for a more protracted amount of time, making sure that I'm not just sort of rushing straight into the next stage. Definitely does help. And this little scene was in southern Vermont. I was actually on a drive from sort of southern Vermont, the Landgrove, Londonderry area of Vermont, on my way over to the lakes area, upstate sort of New York, up past sort of Lake Placid. And I was quite surprised actually just how much rural subject matter, the houses, the barns. The one tricky part was you really did need to be with a second person who would have been who would have got to drive, because so many scenes I would have loved to have photographed, because I was looking to get the drive out of the way. It wasn't sort of a tourist drive, it was more of a destination drive. So there wasn't really many opportunities to get off the road. It was kind of road and then not much on the edge to be able to pull over. But thankfully for this one, I did double back. I thought, you know what, I think this one's worth going back. But there was a couple that there was just nowhere to get off the road, and even sort of to be able to park and walk back. There was that absolute classic, which I would love to return to one day and see if I can work out a way to photograph him. But that's the agony and the ecstasy of looking for subject matter. So often we can be driving along, see that scene, and quickly I visualised the painting and thought, oh, you know what, I'm doing 60 mile, 100 kilometres an hour. There's nowhere to get off the road. You're planning, oh, you're going to have to let that one go. And it is a little painful sometimes, because you think, oh boy, that really could have been a good subject, a really good painting. But I've decided, even with a marvellous group of buildings, I've brought in a little cow into the foreground just to make it a little more interesting. And I really do love to work in the order of foreground, mid-distance and backdrop. And I felt it had a really lovely little hillside, simplified, just greeny blues. So that's going to sit nicely in that background. The barns, the house to the left. There was a magnificent mid-distance for something in the foreground. And sometimes just a fence post, or I could have put some chickens or something, or even a sheep or something, but nothing like the physical size and presence of a cow. It really does take up quite a bit of real estate there for me, which is nice. And they're a great focal point as well. I guess the one thing to watch is that as an artist, we don't go for the same rescue remedy with all or most paintings. I just seem to be in a little bit of a painting cows groove at the moment. I think last year and the year before I was kind of in a painting boats sort of feel. So, and sometimes it's good to work through those instead of just doing the one cow. Okay, I might do another cow next year. If I do 15, 20, even 30 cows in that year, it is a great way to enhance and improve that subject matter in my work. And you can really surprise yourself. You can take yourself from doing competent, say, boats to, by the end of that year, really starting to have a marvellous control and almost a mastery of that particular subject, because everything has a nuance, and it's a matter of developing knowledge and ways to bring out the subtleties of that particular subject. So we got really good darks with the buildings, the light in the skies really working well. So that's marvellous. And once I start to grab these smaller brushes, I know that I'm getting close to sort of what most people sort of probably think is the fun parts. But, and I guess if I've got the brush, then I know that the painting has worked to a certain degree anyway. But I am noticing, especially in the last, say, 3 to 5 years, in that one painting day, no matter how well I paint, I rarely can get it to the final finished painting, finished gallery painting, the one that I will sign and put on the open market. So that's why I've tried to sort of think of, okay, in this painting day, I'm just going to see if I can get it to 98% finished. The idea of going 100%, 110%, it's do or die. I think I've left that belief system behind me now, and my ability to rework and see into areas that I was once blinded by and unsure how to go. I've kind of really overcome that. Well, looks like I can wrap that one up. I've had a chance to have a break from it as well, so I've been able to just assess any areas that needed reworking. Overall, I'm really pleased with this one, especially it's one of those ones that I joined with Procreate. So big success, really pleased. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.